What's happening, my Jack family? Coach Scott here, JackedAfter40.com and ShreddedAfter40.com. Welcome to another episode of Jacked After 40 podcast. Today we're going to talk about an interview that was published last month with Kumail Nanjiani, one of the stars of The Eternals, where he discusses some body dysmorphia that he's been dealing with and talking with a therapist. And I just really appreciated how raw and real he's been with his experiences overall. You may recall that I published a video a little while ago sharing the training and the diet that he followed to get shredded after 40 and in superhero shape. I really love his story, his journey, this average Joe, this average guy who just played kind of a geek on TV and in series and in shows. And here he is, a superhero on the screen. And I love that he's not that far off from my size, 163 pounds, not that much taller than me. So kind of a realistic type physique. But again, just this great, I think it's a great hero's journey, this average guy becoming a superhero there. So I loved how, again, he kept it raw and real with that, with his transformation, where he shared at that time when he's doing this whole publicity tour for the Eternals there, really kind of basking in the glory of this big transformation. He's like, listen guys, like I have access to a trainer, to a nutritionist, psychologist, all these things, like 24/7. Like he has all this help, and it was his job to get in superhero shape. We don't have those kind of luxuries, most of us typical men over 40 here. So I just really love how he kind of not downplayed like what it is, but just kind of setting the bar, setting your expectations there. It really kind of made it interesting, leading to the point where he's at right now. So the first thing I want to address is a topic that comes up often. That is, will getting abs and being lean and muscular make you happier? And I'd say it was making Kumail happier in that first part of his journey after he experienced that transformation, because it really caught the attention of a lot of people. And he appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, he was featured in Men's Health magazine, he was just all over the place. People want to know, like, what did you do to transform your body? And you could kind of see he was like happy discussing all of that stuff, sharing his workouts, sharing his diets, and being pretty raw and real for the most part with his experience. And then things started taking a turn. He started receiving some negative publicity, or at least a lot more criticism. That's what's gonna happen when you are in the spotlight. There's no doubt about it. You're gonna get the haters, and you get the whole internet blowing up. Is he natty or not? Which you see a lot with a lot of these superheroes out there. So many of these stupid videos, natty or not videos, which I could care less about. I don't think that's helping anyone really for the most part, other than kind of setting some realistic expectations for ourselves, which I guess is legit in itself there. But when he, like afterwards, so after this whole publicity tour, and you saw him continuing, like he really went from being a guy who wasn't into working out at all to like really thriving in the gym, and then continuing to build upon his physique. And then the paparazzi caught some pictures of him walking out of the gym looking all fucking pumped and vascular and everything, and then everything, oh my god, he must be on something, some serious gear there and all that stuff. And then he just really started getting a lot of negative comments, a lot of negative criticism. That can really take a toll on you. I mean, it is tough. Just this is not even close in comparison. When you're in the spotlight like that, you're gonna face, I can't imagine the amount of criticism you face. But I just had one of my buddies reach out to me last week. He's like, saw some haters posting on some of my YouTube videos, like, how do you handle the haters? I'm like, dude, it's just water off a duck's back. Like, they're entitled to their opinion. Let them spew what they want to spew. It's kind of it's them putting themselves like that in the spotlight, and I just most of the time can't be bothered to respond. It's not worth my energy personally. I'd rather give my energy to the people who actually deserve it than to get riled up in conversations about other people telling me I'm on steroids or TRT or any of this other stuff. So I can't be bothered with most of that stuff. But I mean, there was a time where there would be occasions where it would bother me. So I think with Kumail there, it's very interesting. I think that's one of the reasons he's been talking with a therapist, is because you're in the spotlight and you're getting so much criticism there, in addition to dealing with some of his own body image issues, challenges. But I just find it so fascinating because on one end of the spectrum, he's got the people who defend him. I would be one of those guys who defends him. I mean, he's done a great job with physique. Whether he's natty or not, I don't care. He's made an incredible transformation, this average Joe becoming a superhero. 163 pounds. He's probably the smallest superhero out there, probably by far. So it's a good representation for me. So you got the people who love him, then you got the people who hate him, and it's amazing. I mean, I find that with myself as well with these videos. Some people tell me, dude, you're fat. Like some people tell me, dude, you're not shredded, you're not lean, you need to lose some weight. Then I have some other people tell me, dude, you're too freaking lean. You need to gain some weight there. You're obsessed. You got body dysmorphia, all that stuff. So the lesson, I guess, one of the take-home lessons from all of this is that you can't please everybody, I should say. You can't please everybody. You're gonna have some people who appreciate where you're at, and you're gonna have some people who want to break you down. And main thing is, you just got to focus on your journey. Just be yourself, be true to yourself, and that's just going to attract the right people in your life. And just try not to give any attention to the people who are casting shade your way, because some people are just out there to break people down, and I tend to surround myself with people who want to build each other up. So another lesson is to just, if you see anyone that you don't agree with, or you think they're on steroids or whatever, like, you don't have to break people down. Like, just think your thoughts. You don't have to put that energy out to the world and criticize other people. You're not doing them any good. You're not doing yourself any good. So that's my kind of little ramble on this first topic of just haters. Like, you're just not going to be able to please anybody, and you shouldn't be trying to please anybody. You shouldn't be doing things. You shouldn't be trying to improve your physique for others, to make others happy. If I get lean, if I build more muscle, I'm going to make people happy. People are going to like me more. And I just do it because it's a passion of yours. You have a healthy fascination with your physique. You want to live your life to the fullest. You want to be your best self. So you're doing it a way, you're shaping your body, sculpting your body in a way that enhances all aspects of your life, and you're doing it for yourself, to live your life to the fullest, not to please anybody else out there. The other lesson I see that came from this interview is when he was talking about having some challenges with body dysmorphia, and how he just sees himself as not being good enough, not being big enough. And then you hear him talk about, like, his ideal physique would be like Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. Like, that is just, that's setting the bar at the elite of the elite of the elite. Like, there's so many millions of us men over 40 especially, who grew up kind of idolizing Arnold in the movies there. Like, yeah, we're working out, he inspires us, but to try to aim to have a physique like him, I mean, who can? I mean, there's such a minor, I mean, you're talking the best of the best still couldn't be as good as him. So for an average kind of guy, especially his height, his frame, his size, that's setting a standard that is just going to set you up for constant disappointment. So it's a huge challenge, I think, for a lot of men out there, and it's a big reason why we really need to just focus on ourselves and just focusing on the process, just putting in the work each and every day, giving the best of ourselves to each and every moment, towards our sleep, towards our stress management, towards our nutrition, towards our training. If you are giving the best of yourself to all that you're doing, that's all you can ever ask for. You're becoming your best self. We shouldn't be trying to aim to have a physique like someone else or live a life like someone else. Let everyone else live their own journey, go through their own process, and we don't know what's going on behind the scenes with them, the challenges that they're facing, what they need to do in order to achieve those goals. People don't, even Kumail, as much as he shares, isn't sharing everything, every aspect of his journey, and I don't expect him to. We shouldn't expect that from others, to be completely 100% transparent about everything. I like to keep it pretty damn raw and real, but there's not everything you know about my entire life here. It is, you know, a lot. I do share quite a bit in these. I don't hold much back, but still, it's really important to maybe be inspired by other people. Go, oh man, I love Arnold's drive. I love his passion. I love how he set these goals and just kept going after, but you got to realize just the genetic potential, the differences in everybody. We're all just different, and you shouldn't be aiming to achieve a certain look or lifestyle of anyone else. You just got to focus on being your best self, to appreciate where you're at right now, be fascinated with your potential, whatever that may be. And it's tough. You see it a lot. I mean, you hear it in regards to body dysmorphia and not being lean enough. That seems to be probably what's most commonly brought up. But I think in regards to a lot of us men, body dysmorphia is just not being big enough, not being muscular enough. And that's why I see a lot of guys who are turning to steroids and turning to other performance enhancing drugs in order to try to get bigger and bigger. And even then, they still, even with those performance enhancing drugs, will not get to that level of Arnold Schwarzenegger. So you're pumping your body full of stuff that could potentially harm you, and still not being happy. There's so many guys who are freaking huge, enormous. You hear guys who are 240 pounds, just big freaking dudes, and still just not happy with themselves. So you really got to, I mean, it's just a lesson for us all to appreciate where we're at, appreciate our own genetic potential, and just focus on the process itself. Giving the best yourself to each and every moment is all you can ever ask for ourselves. And yeah, we're not going to be perfect. We all got our flaws. Very few of us have the perfect genetic structure and all that stuff. So just be happy with what we have, work with the gifts that we've been granted, make the most out of those gifts, and just continue to learn and grow from the process. Another contributor to Kumail's body image struggles is that ever since he went through that publicity tour where he's receiving all that praise for his body transformation, his physique and working out became his identity. It was who he was, who he saw himself as. And when you start receiving criticism from the haters out there who are saying that your physique and how you achieved it is toxic, and the reason why we see so many body image issues out there in the world, it can really weigh on you and really have you questioning your kind of self-worth and whether you're doing the right things. And the thing is, he started really realizing that, you know what, he didn't want to be known as the workout guy. It just didn't feel congruent with who he was. What felt more congruent with him was him as the comedian, sharing jokes about his physique and some of the struggles that he's gone through. So the big lesson here is that you don't want this lifestyle, your physique, and what you're doing to achieve your physique to be your identity. There's a common meme out there, a joke that someone introduces themselves, "Hi, I'm a vegan," and "Hi, I'm Scott, I'm a vegan," and it just, like, all right, I didn't really ask about your nutritional practices, but all right, you're a vegan, that's great. But you see a lot of people, they really tie in their identity to their dietary practices. They're an intermittent faster, and they'll even that's their kind of username, like Scott Intermittent Faster on Instagram or whatever. So you really don't want to tie that. You don't want that to be your identity, especially if you have an open mind and you're trying different things to see what's going to allow you to live your best life, and all of a sudden you start eating more frequent meals throughout the day because you found that serves you best. And everyone's like, well, man, dude, like, I thought you were an intermittent faster. That's all you talked about. That's all you're praising it like crazy. This is the only way to live. It's the best way to go. Now you're like eating more meals a day. I thought, like, what's different? People just start questioning that, whereas because it was like that's who you were, and then as yourself, I mean, there's just so much more. I love working out. I love weight training. I love the nutritional practices that I follow. This is my career. I'm a physique coach. It's not who I am. Like, it's my job, but it's not who I am. There's so much more to me. That's why I really love sharing all different aspects of my life. I love sharing nature photos and sharing just kind of my thoughts, my morning thoughts, and about being present in the moment and what brings great joy to my life, the hikes with Chief and all those kinds of stuff that I'm a father. I'm just so many different things that make up who I am. But like Kumail experienced, like, you want to make sure you're doing things that are congruent with the core of your being. You're not doing it because you're trying to live up to some identity that you think everyone else sees you as, and you're like, I'm now this ripped, muscular dude. I've got to live up to the expectations of others. You don't have to live up to expectations of anybody else. You just have to live up to your own personal expectations. What's congruent to you? What feels best to you? Be your best self. So one of the big take-home messages here is that here we have a guy who looks absolutely freaking incredible. Lean, muscular. He's a star in one of the biggest shows, if not the biggest show of the year, and he's still struggling mentally, emotionally. And a big part of that is that he's been worried about what other people think. And he has a standard that is set so freaking high that he's never going to be happy because he's never going to achieve that. So it's really important for us to not give a fuck really what other people think, to focus, to look within, do what brings joy to our lives, set goals that are congruent with ourselves, do the things that you want to do because it makes you happy. Doing it for yourself and setting a standard that is your own personal standard. Have high standards for yourself, which I think is absolutely freaking incredible. It's what we should be aiming for, to be the best versions of ourselves, but don't strive for the standards of someone else. So big take-home messages there. It's been really fascinating to kind of follow Kumail's journey. I would love to hear your insights, your thoughts, your feedback on his physique in general, the struggles that he's been dealing with, kind of his openness, his transparency, anything you'd love to hear more from him. Please take a moment to drop a comment down below. I love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from listening to today's podcast, do him a favor and share it with them. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Shredded After 40. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next podcast.